boys and girls, and welcome to Sunday School. Would you like to help us sing some songs and some books of the Bible? That's great, let's go! Okay, let's say some books of the Bible. Ready? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth. 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1 Peter, 2 Peter, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation. Great job! Now we're going to sing, I Will Sing of the Mercies of the Lord. You probably don't know this one, but we're going to teach you today. It goes like this. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord forever. I will sing. I will sing. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord forever. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord. And with my mouth will I make known thy faithfulness, thy faithfulness. With my mouth will I make known thy faithfulness to all generations. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord forever. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord. That's great. Let's try it one more time, but I'm going to go a little lower, okay? I will sing of the mercies of the Lord forever. I will sing. I will sing. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord forever. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord. With my mouth will I make known thy faithfulness, thy faithfulness. With my mouth will I make known thy faithfulness to all generations. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord forever. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord. Now we're going to sing, I've got the joy, 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 joy. Ready?
I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart, down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy.
Now, we're going to say, I have the peace that passeth, not the pizza pasta. Ready? I have the peace that passeth understanding down in my heart.
Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart.
I have the peace that passes understanding down in my heart.
Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart, down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And if the devil doesn't like it, he can sit on attack. Yeah! Sit on attack. Yeah! Sit on attack. And if the devil doesn't like it, he can sit on
Sing it with us.
Gone, 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 yes, my sins are gone. Now my soul is free and in my heart's a song, buried in the deepest sea. Yes, that's good enough for me. I shall live eternally, praise God. My sins are gone.
One more time.
Gone, 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 yes, my sins are gone. Now my soul is free and in my heart's a song, buried in the deepest sea. Yes, that's good enough for me. I shall live eternally, praise God. My sins are gone.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Sunday School. I'm glad you were all able to tune in today. Today we're going to go over a review of what we've learned in Sunday School. So put your thinking caps on so you can answer some of these questions. The first thing we want to talk about is creation. Remember? What was the first thing that God created? He said the world was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So what was the first thing? If you said light, you were right. God created light, and He divided the light from the darkness. Wouldn't you hate to just live in a world that was dark all the time? I'm very thankful God created light. And then on the second day, God created the sky. Beautiful sky. And that we call that the heavens. It's the sky that we can look up and see. So on the third day, God created the earth, which is the dry ground, and the sea and all the vegetation. So God gathered all the waters together, and He called it seas. And then the dry land appeared, and that was earth. Okay? That was the third day. And then on the fourth day, what do you think God made? Anybody know? He made the sun and the moon and the stars also He put up in the sky. Isn't it beautiful? That was the fourth day. And then on the fifth day, God made the birds and the sea creatures to put in the water, and the fowls that fly above the earth. And then on the sixth day, He created all the land animals, the cattle, and all the beasts of the earth. And He also made man on the sixth day. And then on the seventh day, what do you think God made on the seventh day? You're right, He rested. I know you had that answer. Very good. So He put Adam and made a beautiful garden, and He put Adam and the animals in there. And He put Adam into a deep sleep. And He took out one of his ribs, and He made the woman. And He put them into a beautiful garden. And they were so happy. But you know what? God gave them one command. He said, do not eat of the tree in the midst of the garden, because that's a tree of knowledge of good and evil. He says, don't eat of that tree, because if you eat of that tree, you're going to die. And so there was a serpent in the garden back then, and he was very subtle. And he was trying to get Adam and Eve to sin, because there was no sin in the world. Everything was perfect. And because Adam and Eve disobeyed God, sin came into the world. Before that there was no sin, but now there's sin. So Adam and Eve sewed fig leaves together to try to cover their nakedness. And back in those days, God would come down at the cool of the day and talk with Adam and Eve. And so they heard his voice, and you know what they did? They went and hid, tried to hide from God because they knew they had disobeyed him. They were afraid. Have you ever did something naughty and then go and try to hide under your bed? Do you think God sees you? Of course he does. We cannot hide from God. So God said, Adam, where art thou? Do you think God really knew where Adam was? Yes, he did. And Adam said, I was afraid because I was naked. So I hid myself. And God said to Adam, who told you that you were naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree? Where have I commanded thee that thou shouldn't eat? And the man said, the woman that thou gavest to me, she gave me the fruit, and I did eat. And the Lord said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent, he beguiled me, and I ate it. And they were trying to blame their sin onto someone else. The man blamed the woman, and the woman blamed the serpent. But you know what? Sin was in the world now. And God cursed the serpent, and he said, you're going to crawl upon your belly all the days of your life, and you're going to eat dust. And he said to Adam, because you've sinned, you're going to have to work and till the ground and earn and work by the sweat of your brow. You're going to have to eat bread by the sweat of thy face. And you know what he said to the woman? In childbearing, you're going to have pain and sorrow. And that's what happened. God cursed Adam and Eve and the serpent. And now we are cursed because we have sin in this world. And you know what God did for Adam and Eve? He killed an animal and shed that animal's blood, and put coats of skin on Adam and Eve to clothe them so that they wouldn't be naked. But you know another sad thing that happened to Adam and Eve? Spiritually, they died. They were separated from God now because they had sin on them. And you know what? God put them out of the garden. That was probably a very, very sad time. I know it was. And he put flaming swords so they could never go back into the garden and eat of the tree of life and live forever. So they couldn't go back into the garden ever. And now sin was upon all the earth, all the world, and everyone that's born today is born into sin. So years and years went by, and God looked down on the earth, and he saw that it was just wicked continually. Even the imaginations of people was only evil continually. And it grieved God in his heart, because man wasn't giving God pleasure anymore. It was grieving him that man was so wicked. And the more that years that went by, the more wicked they became. But in those days when things were so wicked, there was one man that found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and that was Noah. And you know what God said to Noah? He said, Noah, I'm going to flood the earth, and I want you to build an ark, and I'm going to have you and your family inside the ark, and the animals, 2 by 2 if they're unclean animals, and by 7s if they're clean animals. And I want you to put them into the ark for safety. So God caused a great flood upon the earth. It rained, and the fountains of the deep was opened up, and it flooded the whole earth with water. And everyone died, and the beasts died, and the only ones that was safe was Noah and his family and the animals that were inside the ark. So Noah and his family and the animals that were inside the ark were safe, and they didn't die. So After it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, the ark landed upon the Mount Ararat. And then the floods started ceasing and the waters abated. And they got to get out of the ark. And when they got out of the ark, God told them to multiply and replenish the earth with people. And that's what Noah and his family did. So years and years went by, and man was still trying to get to heaven without God, without obeying God. So they were trying to build the Tower of Babel. And they were building it trying to get to God. But you know what? No matter what we do, no matter how good we are, there's no way we can get to heaven except through Jesus Christ and the sacrifice that Jesus paid for us. By trusting Him, that's God's way of us getting to Him, is through His Son, Jesus Christ. So God looked down and He saw them building that, and you know what He did? He confused their languages, and He scattered them upon the whole earth. So they had to leave off building. But you know what? You think they would get right with God? No. The world became more wicked and more wicked. And when Noah got off of the boat, of the ark, he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Well, God called the son of Shem, many years, it was down the track, He told Abraham, He said, Abraham, I want you to go to a country that I will show you, and I want you to leave your kindred and your country and go to where I've shown you to go. So Abraham obeyed God, and he did what God told him to do. And He blessed Abraham. And He told Abraham, He said, Abraham, I'm going to make of you a great nation. He said, you're going to be the father of a great nation, and you can look up at the stars. And if you can count the stars, Abraham, that's how big a multitude I'm going to make of you. And Abraham said, well, I don't even have a child. How's that going to happen? But with God, nothing is impossible. So when Abraham was 100 years old and his wife Sarai was 90, guess what? God gave them a son. And what do you think his name was? Who was Abraham's son? If you said Isaac, you're right. His name was Isaac. And God chose Isaac. And Isaac was in a land where the father didn't want him to marry any of those women there. So he sent his servant back to his own people to find a bride for Isaac. So the servant went back, and through the direction of God, he found the woman whose name was Rebecca, and he brought her back so that she could marry Isaac. And her name was Rebecca. And she married Isaac, and they were married, and they had 2 sons. The name of the one was Esau, and the name of the other was Jacob. But God chose Jacob. He didn't choose Esau to bless. So Jacob had 12 sons. And God changed Jacob's name to Israel. Do you know of a nation now that's called Israel? Of course you do. It's the land of the Jews that God had given them. So God blessed them, and He blessed Jacob. Okay, so Jacob had 12 sons. But there was one son in particular that was his very favorite. And he was the son of his old age. And his name was Joseph. And one day, because Jacob loved him so much, and he made him a coat of many colors. And the brothers looked at that, and guess what? they got angry because they knew that their father favored their younger brother, Joseph. And they got so angry that it developed into they wanted to kill him because they were so jealous of him. And they didn't like him. They hated him. So one day, the brothers were out in the paddock watching over their sheep, and Joseph's father said, "Go out and check on your brothers and make sure they're okay." So Joseph was happy to do that. And so he went there, and when they saw him coming, they made up this plan. They said, "We'll kill him and throw him into a pit and tell our father that a wild beast killed him." That's pretty wicked, isn't it? See, the heart of man is wicked. And the oldest brother, Reuben, said, "No, let's not kill him. Let's just throw him into this pit." So you know what they did to Joseph? They threw him into this deep pit. There was no water in it, but they threw him down there. But then came some people that they sold Joseph into slavery. And they took Joseph into Egypt. And after he got into Egypt, well, let's see what happened. They went home and they told their father, they said, "Father, this is Joseph's coat and a wild beast has killed him." And his father was so grieved in his heart that he rent his clothes. And he said, "Oh, no, I can't live without my son." But he was just so sad and so heartbroken. But his brothers didn't tell him the truth. They just kept it a secret that they had sold his son into slavery. So when Joseph got into Egypt, he went through a lot of trials and a lot of bad times, but then eventually he got promoted to the second in the kingdom, and he was Pharaoh's second in command. And Pharaoh even gave him a ring and put it on his finger. And so when Pharaoh had this dream that there was he had a dream that there were 7 ill-favored kine and 7 fat ones. And so Joseph interpreted that dream for Pharaoh, and he said there's going to be 7 years of goodness and then 7 years of famine where there's no food in the land. And so Joseph, in the 7 good years, he stored up all the plants and all the food so that they would have plenty during the 7 years of famine. And because of that, Joseph was able to preserve the life of his family. Boys and girls, we can see that God is faithful. And through all the famine, the years of famine and hard times, God still provided for his people. So that's a lesson that we can learn. Just stay close to God and obey him and do what's right, and he'll take care of us. God bless you. Okay, we'll play a little game. It's called Who Am I? So listen up. Who am I? God told me to build an ark. Does anybody know?
Noah.
Noah is right. Okay. Who am I? Who created the world and all things in the world?
God.
Very good. Who am I? I turn darkness into light.
God.
God, that's right. Okay. Who was put into a deep sleep by God?
Adam.
Very good. Okay. Emily, you can answer this one. God used me to save my family alive. Who was it? Who am I?
Joseph.
Very good. Joseph. Okay. Zane, this is for you. My brothers threw me into a pit and then sold me.
Joseph.
Joseph. Very good. This might be a little hard unless you put on your thinking caps. I married Isaac.
Rebecca.
Very good. Okay. Zane, you know the answer to this one? I had 12 sons.
Wait.
Emily, do you know?
Jacob.
Jacob.
I was about to say that.
Okay. Listen up. I became the second in Pharaoh's kingdom.
Joseph.
Joseph, very good. Okay, we've got a few more. Let's do it quickly. I forgave my brothers of the evil they did towards me. Zane?
Joseph.
Yep, Joseph. I found grace in the eyes of the Lord when the earth was flooded. Emily?
Noah.
Yep. Okay. I came from Adam's rib. Zane?
Eve.
Yes, very good. My brothers threw me into a pit and sold me. Have we already had that one?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay. I'll give you another one. We hated our younger brother. Emily?
Joseph's brothers.
Joseph's brothers.
Well, 11. 10.
God told me what he would make, that he would make of me a great nation. Who did God tell that to? Zane?
Israel?
Who?
Israel?
No, not Israel. Well, he did, but in the beginning,
Abraham.
Abraham. Okay. I confused the people's language and scattered them abroad because they were building a tower to reach to heaven. Zane?
God.
Yes. Okay. God told me to leave my country and my kindred and my father's house and go to a land that God would show me. Emily. Who did God tell that to? Leave his family, his kindred, and go to another country that God was going to lead him to.
Zane?
Do you know?
Abraham?
Abraham. Very good.
Or Abram.
Abram, yeah. Okay. This is the last one. I have 3 sons. Their names are Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Both of you answer.
Noah.
Very good. Okay, that ends our lesson. Thank you.